Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. Last time we left off with VE Day in the Far East, showing a lot of how the soldiers in the Pacific reacted to, well, VE Day. Victory in Europe Day. We're now on to A Quisling is Nabbed in Norway, May 10th, 1945. It's his turn now. As Norway fell with the rest of the German-held lands, this member of the Quisling party found himself at the other end of a gun for a change. A member of Norway's death gang holds an automatic carbine firmly in his back. Meanwhile, the traitor's boss, Vidkun Quisling, and 6 members of his cabinet were behind bars in Norwegian jails. Yeah, this is something that is not talked about nearly enough, is the other German-held nations and kind of the people in power. A lot of times it gets very much brushed over, but these people still had a hand in power in these other nations, and so these people step up to get rid of them. Now, sometimes they go maybe a little less, you could say, proper. Sometimes they just take the law into their own hands, but I guess that's what they thought was best. Field Marshal Kesselring surrenders. May 10th, 1945. Was top general. Smiling Field Marshal Albert Kesselring left, formally surrendered his armies on May 10th to Major General Maxwell D. Taylor on the right, commander of the 101st Airborne Division of the 7th Army. Kesselring was the last supreme commander in the West. He was appointed to that post in March, but a month later his command was divided. Yeah, Kesselring obviously is very, very well known. Like they said, top general. But he's like, oh, thank the Lord I can surrender. This war is over. The one thing that a lot of people definitely suffer some fates. There's actually probably quite a few of like the very, very big top brass that at first they're probably like, well, I guess we can surrender. It's gonna be all fine, right? They're not gonna do anything to us. And then they find out, well, maybe you will have something done. A Nazi officer bows to the British. May 1945. Ordered off his ship. Admiral Wilhelm Mendelssohn Bohulken, commanding all of the German surface fleet, lowers his head as Commander R.J. Richards, British naval officer in charge, in the right, so that guy right there, informs him that he has 20 minutes to pack and get off his ship before being placed under arrest at Eckernford. Yeah, they still have to get rid of a lot of these guys, in the sense of, like, they gotta be like, hey, come on, let's go. They'll be arrested, tried. Some people will be given lighter sentences, to be fair. Some, not so much. The whole soldiers just following orders doesn't necessarily hold up as well sometimes. The Allies bag biggest Nazi. May 11th, 1945. Oh boy. Oh, I can't. There we go. Oh boy. Fat number 2 Nazi gives out. Man, they're just really ripping into him for his weight. That's, I guess. But to be fair, he's not a very nice guy. Reichsmarschall Hermann Wilhelm Göring, top Nazi after Hitler, was seized on May 8th by Lieutenant General Alexander M. Patch's American 7th Army. The rotund Nazi is shown smiling craftily, sweating, and bluffing, as he faced a battery of newspapermen on May 11th. Seized with Göring, where his actress wife and 6-year-old daughter were his actress. So a lot of the reasons he's smiling, he's so happy, is he thinks he's gonna get off scot-free. He thinks, hey, I gave myself up. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. No, Mr. Um, Goring. It will not be so great. Now, for his daughter and his wife, well, they won't get really harsh treatment in sense of like the punishments for them. But for him, well, kind of rightfully deserves a lot of punishment, you could say. The USS Bunker Hill, a ship that wouldn't go down. May the 11th, 1945. Saved by man's courage. Fighting suffocating flames and exploding bombs, the gallant crew of the USS Bunker Hill sacrificed 392 dead or missing and 264 wounded to save their ship after it was struck by two Japanese kamikazes near Okinawa. The 27,000-ton carrier had sent her planes against Japanese strongholds for 58 consecutive days before she was struck by two Japanese kamikaze planes. I can't say the word that they actually put there, but I'm sure you can guess. Uh, Within 30 seconds of each other on the morning of May the 11th. The two planes released 500-pound bombs, which crashed through the flight decks before making their kamikaze crashes into the vessel. The Bunker Hills planes caught fire on the flight deck, and the ship was swept by an inferno of exploding bombs and burning gasoline. As the crew fought the flames valiantly, the cruiser USS Wilkes-Barre and the destroyers Stremble, Charles S. Sperry, and English came along to help. As the ship listed more and more, Captain George A. Seitz made a decision which decided the fate of the Bunker Hill. Slowly, he had his big ship make a 70-degree turn. This shifted the load of water across the ship from starboard to port, literally dumping the heart of the inferno on the hangar deck into the sea. Later, the Bunker Hill came home to the States, second only to the carrier Franklin as a surviving casualty of the war. Yeah, you really have a lot of these stories during this war of men fighting tooth and nail to keep these ships alive. And they'll, like, for all intents and purposes, these ships should have gone down. There's 500-pound bombs. There are two kamikaze planes that hit it. This thing should have sunk, but these men fight hard, and obviously there's there's a cruiser and two destroyers, or no, three destroyers and some cruisers that help make sure this thing doesn't sink. But also the men on board fight hard, and the captain, making the decision also helps. It's kind of crazy the firefighting that a lot of these guys do, and the ability to put out some of these flames that they have. Crewmen fight to save the Bunker Hill. May the 11th, 1945. Battle Inferno. Crewmen of the USS Bunker Hill stand amid the wreckage of planes and pour water upon flaming gasoline and explosives. Below, a huge hole gapes in the flight deck where a 500-pound bomb ripped through and exploded before hitting the water. Yeah, you see what I mean? Like, look at all of the fire and flame. And then look at this hole from this 500-pound bomb. Like, this ship should have sunk. Like I said, it's a miracle that it even was able to make it back to the States. The Bunker Hill honors its dead. May 1945. Final tribute to heroes. The entire ship's complement assembles on the flight deck and superstructure of the USS Bunker Hill in a solemn memorial service for those who gave their lives to save their ship. 373 were killed, 19 were missing, and 264 were wounded in the carrier's heroic fight against flame and explosion. Yeah, it can't be understated. I mean, look at that, the killed number. That is astronomically high. And 19 missing, obviously they're missing, but you can presume they probably died as well. They probably just sunk into the ocean, never to be found. And the 264 wounded, like, it's that's an astronomical number. In terms of casualties, that's about what, about 600 something. That's a crazy high number. Um, and you can guarantee the complement that didn't suffer that fate um, cared very much and for those lost, and you can see it in their honoring of them here. But that's going to do it for this video. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you have any ways I can improve these videos, leave a comment down below. I read all the comments and always try to improve. And as always, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you.